around. It's something that I just can't understand, the way I behave. Some people you can never save. In my right hand, got a girl on my ear, and on my left hand, throwing back a beer. What can I say? On me, you see clear.
All right, Jody, you're heading to the police precinct. You've gone to the police precinct. You're trying to find information about homeless people who have basically died recently in the last probably, 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. Now, I realize that, homeless people, they don't really keep good records of them because, sadly enough, nobody cares. Nobody really claims the body. Nobody comes to identify the body. They're just John or Jane Does. So you go to the secretary, the desk clerk, and what are you going to ask them?
I'm going to say, hi, I'm here on behalf of a friend of mine who works with the homeless. Mm-hmm. And she has said there's just been a larger number than normal of homeless people that have passed away in the past month or two. And sometimes it's unusual, and so I'm just kind of want to get a list of names and maybe the ones that have the more unusual circumstances about them to see if we can find out how to stop it.
Give me a rapport check.
Oh, I don't think I have rapport.
Sure. It's like talking.
I have presence.
I'm looking for
investigation, rapport. Guns, empathy, driving, athletics, alertness.
All right, +0 then.
Who use guns?
That's a great idea in a police.
Yeah.
Tell me what you know.
Oh.
I like a blam.
Oh, that's actually not a bad roll. Okay, so you get +1.
A 1. I'm sorry, +1.
The gentleman behind the desk, he's kind of about middle-aged, maybe around 40s. He goes, homeless deaths in this city? Okay.
Well, how about homeless deaths near a tent city?
You mean like the tent city under I-10?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hold on. And so he looks at his computer. I'm going to need you to make a discipline check.
Can I back away when I see there's a computer?
Sure, after you make your discipline check.
+4.
Okay. You get the feeling he's going to kind of blow you off, and then you realize he's about to use a computer. So you take about 3 steps back, and it's funny because right before you take a step back, he reaches over the computer, puts his hands on the keyboard, and here, he kind of looks at the computer, and you take 3 steps back, and all of a sudden that goes, it kind of simmers down. It doesn't sound like somebody's about to cut up a piece of wood with a chainsaw. And he kind of looks at you, looks at the computer, and starts typing stuff in. A couple minutes goes by, and he says, let me see if I can print this out for you. Hold on. And so he hits a button, and you hear in the other room, you hear, and so it sounds like maybe a printer going or something like that. And he says, I'll get it real quick. He steps inside this little room off to the side, leaves the door open so he can kind of keep an eye on you.
I do not walk near it.
Yeah, well, even if you went near the door, you have to push the button to let you in. We remember this story. He comes out with, it looks like 15 pages, and he hands it to you and says, these are the John and Jane Does that were in the French Quarter and Garden District in the last 3 weeks. Okay. Maybe this will give you what you're looking for. Is your friend looking for anyone in particular?
No.
Well, okay. Hopefully this will help.
She didn't give me any names. Hopefully she'll recognize some names.
Yeah. So he hands it out to you, and it's probably 12-point font. Looks like probably maybe 100 names, and you're kind of like 100 names in 3 weeks.
Wow.
That's a lot. I mean, now okay. Granted, 2010. A lot of dark stuff going on in New Orleans at this point, but 100 people in 3 weeks is a lot.
That's a little.
I mean, that's kind of ridiculous.
If I glance at it real quick, does it give cause of death, or does it just have their name?
Most of it is natural causes, cancer of the liver, cancer of the lung cancer, psoriasis of the liver. It's all kind of stuff along those lines. But you're just glancing at it quick.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to stick it in my coat, and I guess I'm going to head back to my house and await the...
Okay.
possible calls I'll be getting.
Let's go to Miranda. You have gone back to your place, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing exactly?
Check in. Who owns the pawn shop? I'm guessing that's my landlord. And
He is your landlord. Your landlord is a gentleman by the name of Arnold Carter. He runs the pawn shop. Well, actually, when you come rolling in, he says, "Hey, Miranda, I have a message for you from a guy. He said you might be able to help him." And so he reaches underneath the cash register and hands you this little piece of paper, and he says, "It's a fellow who said he needed some help with a ghost."
a lot of that going around today. Okay, thanks.
What are you gonna do?
Check the Is there a phone number on it?
Well, you open it up and it says, "I need some help with a haunting that is occurring at my warehouse."
I wouldn't put that much detail.
Oh no, okay.
I would leave it very vague.
Okay, I need some help with a situation at my warehouse. Here's my phone number. Please call if you're available.
Help ghost call.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe not even ghost. Yeah,
It's very vague.
Yeah. So, and it has a phone number. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. This is all the messages I got.
That's it.
Thanks. You're the best, Arnie. Okay, so I'll head up to
I like it.
my room and I'm gonna call, but first, do I have a map, like a paper map of New Orleans, or
Probably.
is that something I could very easily? Okay.
Yeah, probably. Or you could probably pull it up on Google Maps too. I mean, 2010 Google Maps
Yeah,
was
that's
around.
true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
I'm not hanging out with wizards at the
Yeah, it
moment.
was. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
If anything, Google Earth.
Yeah.
I'll get some things that I together
work for
for our scoping, stakeout, whatever
Right.
tonight, and then I'll call the phone number.
Okay, so you grab your stuff for your stakeout, your holy oil, holy water that you got from the cathedral, some food, binoculars, glow sticks, throw them into a backpack, kind of sling it over one shoulder, and then you grab your cell phone and you call. You met with Bunk, you were having lunch, you probably have just finished lunch, probably settled up the check, left your tip, gotten up to leave, and all of a sudden your cell phone rings.
Hello?
Ghostbusters. Just kidding. Hi, I got your message. This is Miranda.
Yeah, I've got a situation at my place.
Oh, okay.
Ghost problem.
Okay, is this like a single ghost, an infestation? We're talking about...
Single ghost, lots of what I would describe as flames around it.
Okay, cold spots, anything like that?
Were there cold spots?
Cold. Just where it feels cold in the...
Very
you're right.
minor cold spots, and only when the ghost is around. That was what you had figured out last time. And it was not even as cold as your house is, which is what had really made you concerned. Because my house is colder than his ghost? What's going on? His ghost is kind of spooky. Yeah.
Flames.
Minor cold spots, I'm not a ghost expert or anything, but it seems on the verge of manifesting.
Interesting. Okay.
It stays all hours of the night, but when I come back in the morning, it's gone.
Interesting. Okay. Do you got a address?
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Generic warehouse, generic street lane.
Got it. I know.
That's the one.
I know that area. Yeah.
Generate.
Oh.
That's canon.
Are you home right now?
No, I'm just finishing up lunch with a friend.
Right. Oh, and also it doesn't... What time does it get dark right now?
Probably around 6 or 7 o'clock at night, yeah.
Oh, dang it. Okay. Because I made plans to meet Dela at 6, and this thing doesn't manifest until night. I am saying to myself, definitely not out loud
Yeah.
on the phone.
Schedule
Okay.
conflict.
Yeah, I guess, so I have a thing happening tonight. Maybe after that thing. Are you a night owl?
I could stay up late,
Okay,
but this is pretty urgent.
well, I could, meet you there now. If it's not manifested, maybe I can... Yeah, maybe we can just get the lay of the land. Would I know how to make a spirit manifest that's not
Probably not. Now, you could make a lore check to see if you know kind of any general ideas about this spirit based on what he's told you.
okay.
So you can do a lore check on that. Yeah.
Try it. Okay,
That's
so
cool.
it's a plus.
Plus
I don't
one.
know math. I have +1 on lore, so
So what's your lore?
+1.
Oh, so you have
Plus
+2 total.
Okay.
All right. This sounds like a ghost problem. Most ghosts don't show up in the daytime. In fact, you know that sunlight is pretty bad for them. So yeah, you could check it out and see. You also have a friend who could you have a couple friends who could help
Right,
with ghosts.
right.
So yeah.
She brings Darwin,
So-
and Darwin's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen that."
Yeah, see, been there, done that.
Oh, I'm back. Yeah, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Okay. Yeah. So I have some friends who kind of, they deal with this sort of thing. They're kind of dealing with it right now, as a matter of fact. Yeah. I guess I'll need to see the ghost in action. So
Meet back there around 5:30, 5:45 when
yeah,
the
I
sun
guess
goes
I
down.
could.
All right,
Yeah,
sounds good. I'll see you
I'll
then.
try to do that. I'll try to squeeze it in before I meet up there.
Okay. All right.
I get off the phone. I'm Bill Bunk in. Did I ever get your name?
I said this is Miranda. when I
Miranda.
called.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't remember. Some person, Miranda, is gonna bring some friends. We're gonna hash out this thing around 5:36. If you want to swing by mine.
All right. Do I still feel the pull to him? Like if I leave, do I still feel pull to?
It's not like it was that first night. In fact, you get the feeling that the first night it's almost like a spell had been cast on you, and that gradually the spell is starting to diminish. Now, most spells, when sunlight hits them, or I should say sunrise occurs, their spells are dissolved. So it's interesting that this spell is still acting, but you've noticed that since sunrise, it is definitely weaker. On a scale of 1 to 10, the first night it was like a 9. Now it's a 2. It's just kind of residual. So whatever the working was, whoever cast a spell, it was potent. But again, you're not sure what it was. Again, I don't know. Maybe it was just fate. You're not sure. There are witches who can manipulate fate and handle the skeins of all this stuff, and maybe somebody wove your threads together. Who knows?
And I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
and my line of work. This was a former contract.
Yeah.
Let's try to keep that hush hush and under the rug when they come in. We'll say he was a person I was supposed to protect. I'm in the bodyguard service.
Okay.
Just to, weave a little bit of truth in the lie.
We're going to let them know that you're bad at your job.
Sure.
Okay.
Whatever hides
Okay,
the
I just
truth.
want to make sure.
Yeah.
All right, so you're the bodyguard. Okay. Okay.
Supposed
That
to meet
was-
him in an alley.
This will be fun.
Said he had a target on his back, and I was supposed to protect him, but didn't do it. I'm a failure.
This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Do this.
Flawless.
Yeah.
The truth being that you didn't protect him.
I
The
mean,
truth
that is
being weaved into the
that is
lie.
Yeah, I didn't protect him
It
from
did
myself.
protect you.
I killed him. Yeah.
Arguably, though, he'll never need protecting again.
This is true. You
So
did
maybe I
protect
did
him.
fulfill my job.
Did him a favor.
Big job.
You did him a favor. Right.
I did him a favor.
I retired his need for protection.
Alrighty. So, anybody else have anything they want to
Forward to the
do
day.
before 5:45, 5:30 rolls around? You can go back to your place. Maybe take a shower. Clean up before everybody comes over.
I want to pick up a small little just recording camera
Okay.
and maybe that'd be fine. Just
Yeah.
to tape the experience.
Sure. Gotcha.
I'm gonna take a quick snap since I'm expecting to be up and have to be alert. For
Yeah,
the
that sounds
first
good.
thing.
Very
I'll
true.
take a nap, shower, all those things. I don't know if I've done any self-care in 2 days.
All right. So everybody gets kind of ready. 5 o'clock rolls around, and you're going to head over to Volt's
Warehouse,
place.
generic.
It's going to take you a little while to get over there on public transportation, so you probably find the nearest trolley stop and or streetcar, nearest streetcar stop, and catch a bus. And about 45 minutes later, you roll up on this warehouse. The warehouse looks kind of abandoned. It's quiet. You get the feeling that either somebody's turning it into maybe apartments or something, though you don't see any construction. Whatever the case, there's nothing being really stored here. You don't see any trucks roll in or anything like that. It is right next to the river, so a boat could roll up pretty easily too.
Okay.
Yeah. And I guess you're probably heading over there about that time too. Anybody else heading over that direction? I don't think Dela knows or Darwin knows anything about this.
Yeah, honestly, I figured that the moment I got back from picking up things, whatever, I'd try to give her a call from her card.
Ah, okay. So around probably 4 o'clock, you get a phone call from Darwin that he's got all the things he needs to handle this thing at his house.
Okay.
All right. So you hop on your bike, and probably about 30 minutes, 45 minutes later, you're rolling up to Darwin's front porch. So it's about 4:45. And so, yeah, you're about an hour ahead of where they are right now. You roll up to Darwin's place. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I figured that, hey, I got the stuff. If you want to help out with this, I'll go ahead and get things, set up, while you're on your way, I guess. Just see you when you get here.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna head that way.
You get to his house. You basically roll off your bike. Kind of park it against one of the columns leading up onto his front porch. Head up there, knock on the door. Darwin answers the door. He seems like he's got all the stuff he needs. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, you head into the thaumaturgy room. You can again still feel kind of the pulsing coldness from this corner where it is, and begin to set up the ritual. You've got the different things that are going to hopefully lure the ghosts into the circle, because the idea is you want to lure them into the circle to close the spell. Now, you're going to need to target all of the ghosts in this zone, which immediately... Okay, so you're wanting to tag them with an aspect that basically says you can see. Okay, so that's 3 points of power.
Right.
You need to tag all the ghosts in the zone, which is another 2 points of power.
I have a phase aspect that says love conquers all. Could I tap into their love for each other?
Yeah, you could definitely use that. But you also... actually, you're probably going to need to do 1 raise per person, so you're going to need to at least have a 7 power spell, okay?
All
right. So... to do this thaumaturgy ritual, it's going to require 7
Is that
power.
individually or combined?
Combined.
Okay.
Now, what is your lore?
4.
Okay, what's your lore?
5.
You may want her to take lead on this.
That's fine.
When you help her, you give her a +1.
Right.
So that's a 6. If you tap into that aspect, then all the preparations and stuff like that, you should be good to go. Okay? Save that aspect for when you actually roll. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So you take the little toy and the pictures, you kind of lay them in the middle of the circle. You light some candles to kind of draw them into it. You close the circle with a force of will. Are you going to try and get all 7 points worth of strength into it, or do you want to go, the
I can do
slow
it
route?
do the step by step, right?
You can.
So I'm gonna say, instead of doing it in just one shot, let's.
Right.
Yeah. We'll divide up in 2, 2, 3, or
Okay.
rather 3, 2, 2.
Right. Now, what happens is if she blows her roll, you guys are going to have to soak up the mental stress together, which is fine.
Right,
I mean, with 2 people, it's not so bad. So you're going to need to make a discipline roll. You've got to put 7 points into it. Remember, you can also tag an aspect by giving me one of your fate points. So you could probably do it in 2 rounds. Easy. Too easy. Yeah.
You saying 4 and 4?
4 and 3, because it's 7 points. Yeah.
But if I tag an aspect,
It's up to you.
what does that do?
It gives you 2. Well, it adds 2 to your roll. So when you roll, we see whether you beat a +4, and then the next round we see if you beat a +3.
So you may want to roll first,
Yeah.
and then try to tag
That's what I'm
it.
thinking. All right, let's do that.
Okay, so you need to beat a +4. Now you're rolling a discipline check. What's your discipline?
5.
Okay, so don't roll badly. You should be fine.
Why do you have to say that?
Yeah, don't roll badly.
-2.
My. Okay, so you had 5 minus
I'm at
2.
3.
That drops you down to a 3. You were putting 4 points into it. So unless you tag that aspect, you're going to take some backlash and points and the spell
So I
fails.
can tag the aspect now.
Right.
Alright, so I'll tag the aspect.
Okay, give me the fate point. All right. So now you're at a 5.
Don't talk about my rules again.
All right. Now you're at a 5. Okay. So now you're ready for your roll. Now on this one you only need a +3. So you're in better shape on this one.
So how's he helping me?
He's giving you the +1. And if you take any
Okay.
backlash, you took 1 point of mental stress. He's going to take the next one.
This time I needed 3. I still roll my full complement of dice.
Correct. You
Okay.
always roll 4 dice. It never changes.
Yeah, that's
Ooh,
good.
that ain't bad.
That's a 6.
Okay. You see, the candles flicker. At one point, they take on a bluish tinge, and the little pictures in the middle of the thaumaturgy circle kind of flutter around and then settle to the ground. And then all of a sudden, you see this little family, and there's a husband, and he's staring at the wall like he's seeing something that's not there. And then the wife is kind of staring, 90 degrees from him, and then the little baby is sitting on the thaumaturgy, near the edge of the thaumaturgy circle, kind of looking towards you, and then the little girl is looking towards you. And all of a sudden, she looks at you and says, "Are you my daddy?"
No.
Oh. She turns and she goes, "Daddy!" And she jumps. And when she says that, the husband turns around and says, "Oh my gosh, my little one!" And he runs over towards her and grabs her up and just hugs her. And the wife turns and says, "You're here!" and runs towards, and they throw their arms around and they grab the little boy and stuff like that. And just there's just this huge, and you can just feel kind of the love kind of rolling off of this. And instead of the coldness anymore, you feel warmth and peace. And all of a sudden, the tiny little girl turns towards you and says, "Thank you. You gave me back my family." And there's kind of like a light that starts below them and just kind of rolls up towards the ceiling. And then they're gone. And so you're kind of like, what just happened here? And all the little things that you left in the middle are gone too. But the room feels noticeably calmer and more peaceful. So, write this down on your sheet. Your thaumaturgy lab now has the aspect.
Lab aspect?
That which is lost has been found. Okay? And you can tag that aspect to, with a fate point or something like that if you're doing a ritual that's trying to find things. So that ain't bad. Okay? Now, this takes probably maybe 15, maybe 20 minutes. So it's probably right around 5 o'clock. I think you were heading over there around 5. So around 5:15, 5:30, this woman rolls up to your warehouse. She gets off one of the streetcars. She's kind of, got blonde hair, t-shirt with a peace symbol on it, and you notice that she's carrying this kind of weird, long-looking package across her back.
Okay.
She immediately makes you kind of go, this is the lady the church was talking about? Yeah, she doesn't look like a priest.
Mm-hmm.
She certainly doesn't look like a nun. She looks like, somebody you would see, walking down the street in the French Quarter. So you're a little kind of going, what? Did I get the right person? So, yeah.
I'll, I guess when I see her approach, I'll descend the stairs and reach out for a handshake.
This guy comes down the stairs. He's wearing a leather jacket. He's kind of built a bit like a brick house. He's kind of muscular. That's right. He's mighty, letting it all hang out. And so he comes down the
pants on. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's right. It's not Magic Mike. He's a brick house. So yeah, that's right. He sticks out his hand to shake your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, shake his hand.
Okay.
Volt.
Nice to meet you. I don't know why I did that in like a Dean Winchester voice. That was
Okay, you can do the Dean Winchester voice.
Sam! Sammy!
No, Dean.
No.
Okay.
You are driving an Impala, so it's okay.
Yeah, there is a Chevy Impala outside.
But it's green, so no, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Got Dean Sam webbings.
Yeah.
The whole gamut. So, you
I'm the one with the ghost problem.
Right.
Follow me upstairs.
Okay, let's let's head upstairs.
He takes you upstairs. This warehouse looks like it's seen a few better days. It's a little rusty. You go up the stairs, and he takes you into what would have been the office area of the warehouse, but it's now been kind of converted into kind of a cozy loft apartment, if you will. There's a bed over in one corner. There's a little area with kind of an electric skillet area, and then there's a microwave. The sun's beginning to go down, and as the sun touches the horizon, you notice right next to the microwave there's kind of a hazy outline that begins to resolve itself into a young man. He's got a hole in his chest where his heart and lungs should have been, and that you can kind of see through him. The thing you notice the most is as soon as Volt walks into the room, this creature turns and looks towards him, and streamers, it's like a high wind hits him, and these streamers of ectoplasm go, yeah, exactly, just like that, come flying off, and the malevolence, that's exactly right, yeah, exactly. You nailed it, that's right. This thing looks angry,
Bunk?
but the thing that really catches your attention is you know this guy. This is Terrance Jackson, the one she's been looking for, and his ghost is standing right in front of you and looking at Volt like he would love to take his head off. And that's when Terrance reaches over and grabs the microwave and picks it up and slams it on the ground, and it shatters everywhere. And you're like, that's new. Yeah.
You didn't do that last time.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
yeah.
Bump, Miranda, bump.
Yeah, right.
We've run into each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
each other. Great.
Yeah. Kill sniper. So it's okay. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm not bitter.
I mean,
I'm
if
not
you
bitter.
just told me, I'm gonna just.
It's all right.
What'd you do?
Kill somebody she was trying to.
It's fine.
Running water
Vengeance
thing.
is thine, not mine, saith the Lord. So it's all good. So recognizing that I know who this is.
Yeah, this is Terrance. Button-down shirt, khakis. Well, okay, he's kind of gray right now, but you recognize him for sure.
Right. So the microwave shatters.
Yeah.
So that's a physical, straight up manifestation. Right. So I'm gonna try to speak to him. Is he still fixated, or will he look at me?
Only got eyes for Volt. In fact, when he grabs the microwave, he actually throws it in Volt's direction, but when it leaves his hands, it goes straight down. So it's not like he can impart any momentum to it. Okay. It's like he's trying to throw the microwave at Volt, but he can't get it to fly out of his hand.
Right.
He lets go and it just hits the ground.
Doesn't have the power.
Smashes. Yeah. Okay. But this is definitely a new development. At which point, he starts to reach for something else on the counter.
Quit! I'm gonna run over and try to swipe.
Okay, he's grabbing for your little flat iron skillet griddle
I'm gonna
thing.
grab that instead.
Yeah, you grab it and pull it out of the way. He can't reach it.
I'm gonna slowly start moving everything away.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm now envisioning.
He starts grabbing books and slinging them, and again, as soon as they leave his hands, they just hit the ground. But he's grabbing everything around. He's like he's trying to throw it around and destroy anything that's around him.
I would love an explanation as to why he's so upset with you, but for right now, maybe you should leave his eyesight and let me try to calm him down.
Alright, I'll be downstairs.
Okay.
Alright. Do you gonna head down into the warehouse? You can do that. I'll
go down to the warehouse.
Okay. Head down to the warehouse. As soon as Volt leaves his eyes, this guy, Terrance, calms down. He doesn't seem like he's gonna throw anything around. You start kind of moving things out of his arm. He seems like he can't really move from where he's standing. He's maybe got a
Is he in the same exact spot he was the night before?
Absolutely. And it's so anything he can reach, he's gonna throw ish. But he's not really moving yet. You do notice
You're
though,
still in the room?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do notice he's ignored. Now, when Volt leaves, he sees both of you, but he doesn't seem to really notice you until he looks at you. And then you notice there's kind of a change in his demeanor where it's almost like he's trying to remember something, but he can't quite get it to come to mind. And so he looks at you and he kind of looks puzzled. And he kind of looks up, and he looks at you again, and then whatever it is doesn't seem to connect, and so he just kind of stares back at Bunk. So it's like he wants to know who you are, but he can't remember. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to like step into his eye line, and I'm gonna say, "You're Terrance Jackson. Do you remember that you're Terrance Jackson?"
I'm gonna need you to make a rapport check.
I'm thinking if you could move, you could just move from
Okay,
about
that's
this
four.
everything put in a pile.
Even.
Four.
It's not bad.
I'm sure that's what he wants to do.
Look at it like
You
a
get
ghostly room.
4.
You look at Terrance and you say, I need you to remember you're Terrance Jackson. And he stops looking at Bunk and he looks at you and he goes, and for the first time you hear him say something. He goes, Terrance.
That's right. I'm Miranda. Do you remember me? Miranda Gagnon?
And he looks down and he goes, Terrance. And then he looks at you and he says, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he kind of looks around and he goes, and he starts saying his name, Terrance, over and over. And that kind of seems where he's locked in.
Mantra.
Yeah.
Do you know what's up with the, yeah. Terrance, do you remember how you died?
Need another rapport check. You're going to need a good roll on this
Fail.
one. You got a good one on this. Oh, that's a terrible rapport check. He just looks at you and says, Terrance.
Thanks for the condolences.
I'm dead.
So how do you know this dude?
He used to volunteer at like the soup kitchens and the homeless shelters and stuff where I work. He's a really stand-up guy. Honestly, such a tragedy that he died.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you tried to touch him?
No, no, I have stayed away from him because I mean, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like
And he's over there. You're
He's
over here.
over there,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
there.
Right.
Do I get the sense that he's like here because he's got unfinished business, or some external force maybe keeping him here?
You're gonna need a lore check for that one too, and you're gonna need a good roll.
My lore is not good.
Pass.
I mean, it's a 1.
Where are we at? -1?
The dice evened out, and then I have +1.
Okay. And what's your lore normally?
+1.
+1.
You can't tell. It's just maybe not. You're just not that good with ghosts. Or maybe you need somebody.
I called you.
Can I spend these to re-roll rolls? Is that how
but
that
you
works?
have to do that. You have to
Tag
tag an aspect.
Could I tag it with no one is beyond saving if they want to be saved?
Oh yeah, that's definitely that's
Okay.
definitely an aspect that'll roll on this one. Yeah, come on, good roll.
Come on.
Now, that's much better.
That's a +3 now.
Okay. Do you have another aspect you could tag to give yourself a +2? Because you can tag multiple aspects, just you can't tag the same one twice. Because that'd be cheating.
I have.
It just makes me thirsty.
I've
seen too many of those in Chopsakis.
That's what makes it so
They're
great.
always drinking.
maybe vengeance is not mine but thine. I don't know. Or Reggie's Rosary.
I'll allow that because that's kind of where this is going. So give me your other point. Okay. All right, so you're up to +5 now.
Okay.
You definitely realize that Terrance is not here because of unfinished business. There is something. As you look at him, it's almost like you can see like a cord, a silver cord that runs behind him into the wall, and then you can't, and then it's kind of like it doesn't actually hit the wall. It stops right in front of the wall and then kind of becomes translucent and disappears. So there's something that is feeding him and keeping him
This
here.
might not be a smart idea, but is he corporeal at this point any
You
way
gonna touch
with
him?
a cord or anything?
You gonna touch him?
I'll try.
Well, your hand passes right through him.
Okay.
So not yet.
And then
Okay.
she's like,
Because he was able to touch stuff, so that's
Alright,
why
so-
I was just testing.
Right.
So she was able to. So I want to try see if I can touch him.
When you put your hand into him, there's a spark. Okay. Now, what that means for you as a practitioner is when you touch someone who has magical ability, there's kind of like a little static electricity kind of jump. And this feels exactly like that. Like Terrance, maybe the living Terrance, had magical ability.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to tell Miranda and Dela that as far as you know, Terrance was mundane. He did not have magical ability. He worked for Morgan Stanley. He was a good guy. He was not a practitioner. So you're kind of like,
And I wouldn't.
this guy could cast
even know what
spells.
that
What
means
the heck is
at
going
this
on
point.
here? Yeah, this is weird. Yeah, so this guy was a practitioner. That's
So,
definitely
okay. So yeah, this guy used to be like a spell. I don't know what, but magic-ish adjacent.
magic adjacent, like
Not
you. Yes,
as far as
at least
I
magic
knew.
At
adjacent.
least, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, what all do you know about this guy?
Not that. I knew
Yeah.
that, I mean, he was just a good kid. He always came around the soup kitchens and the shelters, and he just helped out. He was just, I mean, just a hardworking, regular guy as far as I knew. Maybe Dela knows more?
Who's
I
Dela?
could ask her.
You don't know her.
Would it be common knowledge that she's the warden, or I don't know?
Yeah. Anybody who's
Wait.
supernatural would know of her as the Warden of New Orleans. She's the one
I didn't
who's
wanna
in
just
charge
blurt
of when
that
things
out.
get out of hand. You call the Warden. She calls the White Council. They ride in. They kill things or spell things or stuff. Yeah.
So she's the city warden.
Yeah. So anybody
her.
who's a magic.
Dela.
Yeah. You all know her. Who she is. Yeah.
She and Terrance grew up together. They were like best friends.
Oh,
good thing you're not hearing this.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm like,
Bunk's just like sweating.
you're like, there's so much I didn't know about this before. Can I go bolt?
That's interesting. I wonder if she knew that he was a spellcaster. Maybe she did.
You can give her a
okay.
call.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I am curious. Okay, so I definitely feel like he's not here of his own accord. This doesn't feel like he wants to be here. Something's making him be here. He definitely has a lot of animosity towards your friend. Kind of need to know what that's about. Maybe I should ask him. Hey, guy.
Yeah. You can lean out the door.
Yeah.
So
You can go downstairs and talk to him
Okay,
if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not.
You
in
both
front
do
of-
that.
okay.
Not-
Terrance isn't following
I
you.
want to buy some popcorn first.
Just gonna let him know, like,
Right.
Terrance, I'll be
Get
back.
something.
I'm gonna
But
help
you
you.
can pop it in the microwave, but there's no microwave.
Dude,
That
every time he
sucks.
mentioned Terrance, he mentioned that microwave, and I was like, something's up with that microwave, man. Something's up with it.
Demonic microwave.
Yeah.
No.
I bought it from a voodoo store.
So like, hey, coming down. So I'll head down and just be like, so I think I need more information. I have friends who are more knowledgeable about this stuff than I am. Any clue why he's here? Haunting you specifically. He doesn't seem to like you very
Well-
much. Have you wronged him in his life, or?
Maybe from his perspective, he said somebody been following him in the past few weeks, and
Wait, you knew him when he was alive, then?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
he kind of paid me to be his bodyguard, and he said somebody was following him, keeping eyes on him, just felt uneasy, so I came in to do my job. I'm kind of hired muscle.
Right.
I flex.
And he's big.
Oh, wow. So you so you were hired to. He hired you to protect him?
Yeah.
Does he have money like that, Terrance? Do I know?
He worked for Morgan Stanley. He was actually
Okay.
a pretty good analyst, so it's very possible he had enough money to hire a bodyguard. Very
You-
possible.
So you were hired to protect him from who?
I don't know. He never gave me any straight answer, just that somebody was following him.
You need a deceit check
I
at this
was waiting
point.
for it.
If you're gonna do that, you got a deceit check. You do have deceit, right?
Sure don't.
Oh, that's a +0 then.
So, how do deception checks work?
You make a deceit check. She makes a probably rapport check, and probably rapport check. So you make a rapport check. He makes a deceit check.
Okay.
Oh,
Even.
+4.
Well, before she gives me the answer, do I need to wait to see her roll before I use a point? Refresh?
What are you using it for? What aspect are you tagging?
So, because I'm using the story of a bodyguard protecting someone, I'm going to use there's a bullseye on my back. Kind of like, I'm making the facade there's a bullseye on his back. Or something around there.
I'll buy it.
I've got other things too.
So what's your roll? What's your roll you got?
I had a nil.
Okay. To tag that aspect is fine, but it'll only give you a +2, which will give
I
you...
wanted to re-roll if I can do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah,
Sure.
I would
Okay,
much
that's
rather
fine.
do
Yeah, you can re-roll. Yeah,
I think I've got better
absolutely.
chances there.
Yeah. Because you're at +4 right now, right?
Woo! That's a crit, baby! I don't know how good that is, but
y'all pluses?
I got all 4s.
Okay, so you have a 4.
I still might fail, but...
Okay, so no. Okay, you succeed, but with a minor inconvenience.
Okay.
Do you have anything in deceit? Because it's 4 on the dice.
No, I don't
this
have
is
any
fun.
deception at all. I have intimidation and
You have a minor stress.
presence.
All right, so you're telling her about this.
So I have
and,
rapport at 1.
and the reason she's distracted is the fact that you're kind of flexing and stuff like that. And so he's a little hard to ignore when he's kind of moving around and you watch the ripples kind of...
I tried to protect him,
Yeah.
but I just wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
You can't really see because your eyes are rolling.
Right,
so-
yeah. He's kind of hard to ignore when he's flexing and stuff like that. So you're thinking that
Johnny Bravo's.
right, Johnny Bravo, and so he's really hard to ignore when he's kind of talking and looking all broody like that. And
Got it.
Yeah, and so you're thinking that maybe, and she's kind of fluttering her eyelids a little bit, and you're kind of going, oh wow, that was not what I was going for. Maybe the reason she didn't notice because she's a little bit attracted to you, kind of something like that. And you're kind of like, well,
Bolt is a big, strong, muscular boy.
he is. He's a nice looking
He's
fellow.
got a might of 5. So.
He's a
Might of 5.
that's
And
might of
superhuman-
5 is big.
And superhuman strength.
Yeah. So when he flexes, he flexes. That's right. Yeah. So she's kind
Or
of
inhuman strength.
checking out your pecs and kind of looking at your arms and stuff like that. And
do
it's
the
not really
raw
something
thing,
she's into, but you're thinking, if you're going to have to deal with evil supernatural beings, it wouldn't be bad to have a big strong guy around to handle,
Right,
and
yeah.
especially since he's not hard to look at. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay. So yes, you did not suss out he was lying to you because he was a little
I
hard
was
to look
so
at.
That was
stressed.
such a clutch roll.
Like,
'cause
yeah.
That was a good roll.
Best use
If
of a
I had
refresh point.
anything on my dice whatsoever, you would have been screwed.
I know, I'm so scared. Oh god.
And you're kind of going, why does he keep flexing?
Yeah, exactly.
And going, I don't know why.
They're like, this isn't doing anything for me.
And you're like, is he trying to impress her? And it works.
Yeah.
You got your popcorn?
I was like, huh? Didn't think that would work. All right.
I thought that was just
Like, oh, is that?
Yeah.
Is that how
What the
it
heck
works
is that all
now?
about? Oh, wow. She's really distracted by that.
She actually believed him.
Yeah, she bought it. Yeah. So,
What?
he seems to be telling you about the fact he was supposed to protect this guy. Didn't work out. He wasn't able to protect him. It wound up the guy, Terrance, got killed. So yeah, such tragedy.
So I think
I gotta pick it from
obviously I need to get with my friends who know more about this sort of stuff.
And you can call
They
him.
kind of. Oh yeah. Darwin has a phone.
He does.
Yeah, I'll call
Both
Darwin.
a cell phone and a home line.
That's right. His cell phones work.
Right.
'Cause
Oh, hey,
he's-
I thought you were a Fritz guy too.
Not like her.
Not like
Oh,
her.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know. I mean, he might.
I'll give Darwin a call. For the 3rd time today, I will bother him.
Yeah, his iPhone periodically drops calls. That's about as far as he has problems with. Yeah. Ah, crap, we're in a dead zone.
Oh.
Yeah. You just finished, kind of dispelling the this house is clean, kind of thing. And then all of a sudden your cell phone goes off. And so it kind of breaks the moment where the family, shoots up into heaven or something like that. And it's Miranda. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Again.
yeah. Thank you, Dela, so much for your help. I have to take this real quick. I go to the kitchen where I left the phone because I know that probably wouldn't be good to have around her. So
True.
I'll answer it. Hello?
Hey, Darwin, it's your favorite customer. So I know you're really busy with like your own exorcist thing. I got this guy who called me about another ghost.
There's been a lot of that lately.
Yeah, there has been a lot of that lately.
Yeah.
A lot of that. Thing is is Dela still there?
Actually, yes, we just finished up over here.
So this is kind of personal for her. So I don't really know how to. The ghost is someone she knows, and it's kind of a sensitive topic, and I don't know. Man, I don't want her to be distracted with this, but at the same time, she kind of needs to know. Okay, so I'm just gonna say it. So her friend Terrance died not too long ago, and don't know why I'm talking. I guess I was on speakerphone.
Do you want to be on speakerphone? I could probably do that. But...
Actually, yeah. Let's do that.
All right.
Send it. Okay.
You're just saying like that good 6-7 feet away.
Yeah. He called.
Brandon wants to talk to you.
Hello?
Hey, Dela. How's it going?
It's going well. We took care of the problem at his house.
That's great. That is excellent. That's good news. So I have something that probably needs your attention, and the devil man may have to take a back seat for this tonight. I don't know.
Okay.
Terrance is haunting a warehouse by the river, and
I need a discipline check right there.
For me?
Yeah.
oh yeah, shoot!
Because that's going to hit you pretty hard in the yeah.
I'm sorry, but the way you said that, I don't know why. When you're like, Terrance is haunting a warehouse, I thought like that stupid meme where it's like, oh, is that like a person that turns into a house? You know, it's like, that's the first thing I thought of. It was like,
Oh,
You're fine.
What'd you get?
I got a 6 plus 6.
Okay. You notice that you're starting to drop. When she says that, the call starts to drop out, at which point you take about a step about 2 feet back, and the call comes back in. So yeah. Yeah, this kind of gets you pretty seriously. Yeah. So go ahead.
Where is it?
It's on blah 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 generic street by the river.
All right.
Generic.
I'm familiar with
French
the
names.
generic.
that's right. Does that place sound familiar?
It sounds real familiar to you. That you've been there. You were there last night, in fact. Yeah.
I want to let you know it's not. Just prepare yourself. He's I think he's here against his will. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. That's why I called in the big guns. I don't know. I'm a little out of my depth here.
All right.
You gonna hop on public transportation or his moped and head over there?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I'm calling an Uber.
Okay.
All right, he's calling an Uber for
Thanks,
me.
Darwin.
I'm not waiting
He's
around.
calling an Uber, right? You gonna head over there with her? Sounds like a fun time.
Does it though?
Maybe.
He's like, what if he realizes I know him?
I don't know, because part of me is like, no, this isn't. No. But another part of me is like, I have an idea, I know what's happening. And she's pretty good at doing stuff.
Somebody has popcorn.
That's right.
Popcorn.
Gonna be fireworks somehow.
I think I will go. I'll call you an Uber.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take my moped.
Yeah.
I need to have my own way out.
All right.
Smart.
He calls you an Uber.
I don't even hear any of that. All I heard is Uber.
And Terrance, right?
I'm focused.
About 10 minutes goes by, and so the Uber rolls up. You hop on your moped. The Uber takes off towards the warehouse district. It takes you about 15-20 minutes to get there. You roll up to the warehouse on Generic Street. and head inside. The Uber drops you off, and the driver's kind of like, "This is a weird place." Okay, people live here, and you roll up on your moped, and you chain it to one of the nearest posts. There's some stairs leading up to the what looks like the office area of the warehouse. That looks like the only way in. There's some big roll-up doors, but they're chained down, obviously.
Okay, I'm headed up. I'm not running, but I'm walking with purpose.
You head up the stairs.
And I'm trying to
calm yourself, right? You get to the door.
I don't want to be excited or sad.
Okay, what are the rest of you doing for the 20 minutes it takes her to get over there?
So I'm just going to let them know I got experts coming. They know how to handle this. They literally just dispelled. These are the real Ghostbusters.
So how'd this guy die? I mean...
Well, he told you. He
right up, but not in front of her.
Right.
But
so I am
story.
turning
I'm not sure. I was told to meet him in this at this bar, and I got there, and he was nowhere to be found.
We really need to find out who it was. It's so odd that he hired you and didn't tell you who to look for whenever they were trying to attack him.
He didn't know who it was. He just kept saying.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
It felt like someone was watching him out
this
for his
may be
blood.
something Dela knows about. She's on her way here. Look, she was a personal friend of his, and so just warning you, this might be personal for her.
Huh.
Well, I'll stay down here while y'all deal with it up there.
Right.
Okay.
About that time, you hear a knock on the door up by the office. He's standing down there. What are you doing, Chuck?
I am.
Hey, all hands on deck. Do you want
I'm
to?
enjoying every minute of this.
And so you and Miranda head up the stairs to
So
the
I
office.
don't see him.
No,
or
he's
anything downstairs.
No, he's downstairs. No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Oh, he went far away. Okay,
Right.
gotcha.
You open the door of the office. It's a little office that's been converted into kind of a apartment that is in the office area of this warehouse. Sure enough, standing by the counter, and there's a smashed microwave on the ground, is Terrance. He's standing there, and you notice that as you walk in the door, he's going, Terrance.
So my eyes are gonna kind of mist over, but I'm actively
He's got a hole in his chest, and you
gonna...
saw that you can tell that this is what he looked like when he died. And it's definitely Terrance. When you walk in the door, he turns to look towards you and says, Dela? And that's the first, and you can, because he hasn't said anything but Terrance for the last 45 minutes. And he looks at you and says, Dela?
Yes. Hi, Terrance.
I like to think that came in a few seconds after that, oh, hey, Miranda,
Yeah.
I brought Dela. What's
Hey,
going
darling.
on? Why is the microwave broken?
Yeah, right. I can fix that. Yeah, it might not work, but it'll be fixed. At which point, when you say yes, Terrance, he goes Terrance. It goes back to this just kind
that's
of
new.
Repeating the Terrance
It's new.
thing.
It's really annoying.
You also notice that they moved everything away.
Did he say that's new?
He says that's new. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I look at him. What do you mean that's new? Have you seen him before?
I've seen this entity before, yes. I was over here last night. But I don't know what's going on with it, though. I can't do much.
Can they?
Is he here?
Yeah, he's up there too. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Chuck.
Hi.
You're on Bunk.
No, Bunk. The same guy.
Hi.
Chuck Bunk.
Hi,
Yeah.
Bunk. Hi, Bunk. And you can see him as well?
Oh, yeah. We could all see him.
Everybody can see him,
Everybody
yeah.
hear him.
Yeah.
Saw him throw the microwave.
Make me a lore check.
Oh, he threw the microwave?
He picked it. Well, he did like this.
He
and
went to throw it and it
almost
just
like
fell and
smashed him.
shattered.
Like,
Yeah, he smashed it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And yeah.
That's definitely new.
Plus one.
6.
All right.
It's a
You can
physical
see
object.
very hazily behind Terrance a silver cord that leads towards the wall and then disappears about 6 inches from the wall. It just kind of gradually fades out of existence.
Have I seen a silver cord?
Yeah, there's something from the Never Never that is feeding him with power and keeping him, in place. So yeah, you've seen this before. This is definitely something from the Never Never.
So yeah, I noticed that cord thing too, but I don't really know exactly what it means other than I think that he doesn't want to be here. Like I don't think this is.
Yeah, he's something on the other side is feeding him.
I don't know.
Keeping him here for whatever reason.
I don't exactly know what we would do to remedy this situation. I wanted to ask a technical question. I have an ability called Bless This House, and it says by your very presence in a place, you may increase the strength of its threshold.
Right. He doesn't have a threshold yet, but like for his house, it was like a threshold of +1. You would make it a +2 just by being there, which is pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. So that wouldn't affect this situation.
Yeah, not quite yet. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna look at Terrance again and say, why are you here?
He doesn't say anything besides just Terrance in that weird kind of grindy, ghostly voice. Yeah, it's very weird.
Okay.
Now, if something from the Never Never is feeding him, you do know you can open a gateway to the Never Never. You can either use thaumaturgy or you could, do it as evocation quick, whichever you want to do it.
I was about to say. Yeah. Okay, I know he can do magic. Can I tell if other people? I can tell if other people are magical.
Shake their hand.
Okay.
Yeah, and you'll get a spark that'll tell you yes.
Does it have to be their hand?
Just touch them. Yeah, you can just touch them.
Yeah, so I'm gonna walk over to Bunk and say, "Hey."
Zap. Yeah, he's a practitioner. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
Nice to meet you too. A little rude there.
You get the same space. Yeah, you get the same kind of zap. You can tell she's a practitioner.
Well, I know you said
she's a warden. You know she is.
Yeah.
Wardens are wizards. They're full blown, knowing the spells, carrying the staves.
I just find it was easier because I'm not sure why this guy is here where my dead friend is appearing. So,
speaking of which, you mentioned that he was a practitioner, Terrance.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
So if you touch him, go touch him.
I'm gonna say Terrance wasn't a practitioner, but do you see that? Do you see that silver cord?
Did I see the silver cord? I don't remember.
No, you haven't seen it yet.
Oh, so you're not.
I haven't paid attention.
I didn't know if he.
You want to touch Terrance?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Yes, I'm gonna go over to Terrance.
Zap. You get the same kind of zap that he gave you, which means that at some point he was a practitioner. Now, that's new. The Terrance you knew did not do spells. Okay, he was a nice guy who you grew up with. He was not a wizard or a sorcerer or anything.
Interesting, because Sydney St. Clair sent me that message. No, not Sydney St. Clair.
Not Sydney St. Clair.
Hang on. I got it somewhere.
Bella St. Clair.
Yeah, Bella St. Clair sent me
Sydney was the one who taught you.
Yeah, Bella St. Clair sent me that note saying, "Hey, sorry about your friend."
Mm-hmm.
And she's a Devanay.
Mm-hmm. So is Sydney. So is Sydney.
Yeah. So now I'm suspicious, or in the words of younger people I know, sus.
Sus.
Sus AF.
So what do you want to do?
I'm going to look at him and say, I think we need to go to the Never Never.
All right.
How y'all doing up there?
You hear a voice from below say, "How are y'all doing up there?" Right?
Oh,
we're about to go to the Never Never.
So,
Okay.
that's a guy
Cool.
who
I guess sounds scary.
Terrance hired to protect him
Yeah, sounds
from
awful.
someone who was hunting him. I didn't know.
He's the guy who owns the warehouse.
I'm thinking to myself, why didn't Terrance contact me? Especially now that I know he had to have known I was a warden. The thought flickens. Okay.
So you come back up the stairs.
I guess we'll go down.
Well,
I mean, he's shouting.
I'm waiting for a. Well, you respond. Yeah, I'll go. Well, no.
Okay.
Because I don't want any more shit broken.
Yeah. Well, no, you moved everything away from what he can reach. He can't reach anything else.
Yeah, but if he yells up to us, then I figure I'm gonna go down.
Yeah, okay, so you head to the stairs that would lead down to the warehouse floor, and there's this guy standing on there, leather jacket, kind of spiky bit. He's kind of strong looking dude. And
I do have a +3 presence.
That's right. And so you kind of walk down there, and you see this
I want to roll
fellow.
to see if I'm impressed.
I didn't matter. He's pretty good looking fellow. He's a pretty strong looking fellow. You're definitely thinking you wouldn't want to tussle with him in a dark alley unless you got the first shot off.
Okay.
He's a pretty serious looking dude. You gonna shake his hand?
Volt.
You do not get the tingle of a practitioner.
So there's no volt.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's not a practitioner. Yeah.
So when I don't feel the volt, I cock an eyebrow, which I can't do that in real life.
That's
But
all right.
I cock the eyebrow, like not much of a volt.
Yeah. Ha 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 ha.
Do I know what that means?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, in my head.
No,
In
she
my
didn't say
head.
that loud.
Okay. All right.
No, I wouldn't say that out loud.
No.
I want to get ducked by a
Yeah,
guy.
you could probably take her out with
I was just gonna
with
squeeze harder.
But,
you know.
but the name of volt, I was expecting like a big electric shock or
No,
something.
he's definitely not a practitioner. He's not a magician or anything like that.
I do have a +3 presence.
That's right. And so you kind of walk down there, and you see this
I want to roll
fellow.
to see if I'm impressed.
I didn't matter. He's pretty good looking fellow. He's a pretty strong looking fellow. You're definitely thinking you wouldn't want to tussle with him in a dark alley unless you got the first shot off.
Okay.
He's a pretty serious looking dude. You gonna shake his hand?
Volt.
You do not get the tingle of a practitioner.
So there's no volt.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's not a practitioner. Yeah.
So when I don't feel the volt, I cock an eyebrow, which I can't do that in real life.
That's all
But
right.
I cock the eyebrow, like not much of a volt.
Yeah. Ha 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 ha.
Do I know what that means?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, in my head.
No,
In my
she didn't say
head.
that loud.
Okay. All right.
No, I wouldn't say that out loud.
No.
I want to get ducked by a guy.
Yeah, you could probably take her out with
I was just gonna
with
squeeze harder.
But,
You know.
but the name of volt, I was expecting like a big electric shock or
No,
something.
he's definitely not a practitioner. He's not a magician or anything like that.
Wow, way to
So-
assume.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you know,
This is a
sometimes, usually
bodyguarding
assumptions are
business.
right.
So, no. So, do you
Maybe not. You're right.
do you
Okay,
want to
right.
go open a gateway to the Never Never?
Yeah.
All right. So she tells you that she's basically going to open a gateway to the Never Never because that seems to be where the power is coming to fuel Terrance.
Yeah.
You go back up to where he's standing there.
Can I tell him too? I don't think it's. I really don't think it's Terrance. It's something else because all that it can say is his name.
Maybe
It doesn't.
you're not sure.
It knew my name, but
Yeah.
if it's something that's controlling him, maybe the other side knows who I am.
Are you going to open this as a ritual so it'll stay open for a while, or are you going to just kind of tear a hole? How do you want to do this?
Since I'm not emotional about it now because I realize this isn't actually Terrance,
Okay.
it's like his figure, his visage is being used.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do the ritual because I know how dangerous the Never Never can be.
So you grab a piece of chalk, you draw a circle, probably around Terrance. He's a little bit of force of will to pop it closed. When you do that, you notice that Terrance looks very puzzled, okay? And actually begins to kind of fade out of existence. Now, whatever it is, you kind of cut him off from his power source by drawing this magic circle.
Oh.
And then you're ready to cast the ritual. You need to roll. Let me see what to do here. You're doing a thaumaturgy. Your shifts are only +3. So what's your lore skill?
5.
Okay, so you're well above that. You need to roll discipline, and you need to get at least a +3.
Can I, since these guys are magical, can I get assists from them?
You can get a +1 from each of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
they know how to do this stuff.
You guys good with that?
Yeah,
I was going to ask, but I wasn't
Yeah.
sure how
Yeah,
your character is with such a personal
Yeah.
thing here.
yeah, she's pretty cool. She's pretty relaxed and groovy.
Well, but what I'm saying is, since I don't think there's a personal connection.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? 'Cause
No,
it's
no,
not
I'm talking
Terrance.
about you with Terrance. I don't know if you don't want other people messing with what you're doing.
right, because it's a
Oh.
personal thing. Gotcha.
No. I want people to help me because I'm gonna kick the butt of whoever took him out.
Yeah, what a dirtbag.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to be like, oh, you got I got chalk too. Can I help? You know, just be like, no, stop, mine.
Well, you each probably draw a triangle and stand at the point of the triangle to help feed
Okay.
the energy to it.
All right. So I'm rolling what?
Roll your discipline. All you need is +3. Actually, what's your discipline at?
5.
Okay, and you got a +2. So you're at +7 right now. So don't
Say that.
Yeah. You're fine. Yeah, you're fine. All right.
I got a 6.
She draws her hand kind of back and forth across into this X shape, and it's like reality just splits in half. And through it, you can see this kind of dark, gray, grim-looking countryside. You know that this will stay open for a little while, but not for very long. What do you want to do, Jody? You going to step through? You can always open a way back. I mean, it's not a problem.
I'm gonna step through and follow the silver cord.
The rest of you stepping through?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If the wizards go.
At this point, I'll go ahead and drop the canvas roll and pull out the sword.
If the Warden of New Orleans is going through, I mean...
She's carrying a cavalry signal. You're like, when did this happen? You step through.
Interesting choice.
In front of you, you see this
situation.
kind of rugged, rocky countryside with water and stuff like that. There is, for all intents and purposes, a granite tower rising up from the beach along the cliffside. And in front of this granite tower is what looks like these hooded Grim Reaper type specters carrying scythes. They turn towards you and let out a shriek of anger and come hurtling towards you. And
that's not good.
That's a good point to end because it is about 9:15. So that's a good point to end. Hi, today on the Dresden Download, we're going to talk about ghosts. Now, ghosts in the Dresden Files originally don't show up in a lot of different ways. We run into Agatha Hawthorne, who is a ghost that steals the breath from babies. We run into the ghost of a practitioner known as the Nightmare that can actually cast spells. But later in this series, in a book called Ghost Story, we find a lot more about ghosts. Ghosts are basically memories. They're like a footprint in stone. And those memories are what keep them alive. They keep them in charge of themselves. Different ghosts have different power levels. Some are much more powerful than other ones. Some ghosts give themselves into emotions and turn into things like lemurs or wraiths or things like that. So the big thing that all ghosts have to abide by is the fact that they cannot be out during the day. They can only come out at night. And all ghosts can cross over into the real world on Halloween.